Welcome to another long-awaited episode of the RXP podcast, a podcast where a group of working professionals talk about the games, movies, shows, hypothetical musings, books, whatever that we love to enjoy in our free time. I'm your host, Alex, and joining me as always are my co-hosts, Matt.
What's going on?
Tiffany.
Hello, hello.
And Yasser.
I like how you described this as long awaited. Does that just mean that this topic has been on your mind for such a long time?
You know, it's got many meanings. It's both yes in some ways, and also I know listeners, we were very sparse with our uploading, so in a way it's hinting at that as well. And at the same time, it's related to the exact topic of this episode. And that is, you know, the wait for things, right? And very specifically, the things that you're expecting, whether it's formally or not formally announced, whether this is a game, show, book, movie, what have you, where you know something's coming on the horizon and you just can't wait to experience it. And lo and behold, the time arrives. And by the time it gets there, you know, it either met your expectations or it just kind of left you by the wayside. And you're like, well, I wasted all this time waiting. That wasn't that great, was it?
So, if you will, it's like we buy the ticket for the hype train in advance, and then the train either never comes or comes and it's not a hype train, it's a sad train.
Or it comes and you hop on and you're speeding through, you know, to the next station.
It truly is a hype train.
Yeah, it truly is the hype train. Like, it's keeping up. This isn't just going to be a negative episode, but it's on all levels of meeting expectations, fails to meet expectations, exceeds expectations, if you will. So we don't just want to be negative Nancy's here, but I do want to, you know, applaud the games that maybe we've been waiting a long time for and ends up meeting kind of what we wanted to get out of it. And to start things off, I just want to point to one thing, you know, close to the RXP podcast here, close to our hearts, something we talk about regularly. And I would be remiss to not start this topic with this gaming IP because, at least for me, it was very long awaited. And that is Kingdom Hearts, but more specifically, Kingdom Hearts 3. And now, Yasser, let me fill you in case you didn't know the history about Kingdom Hearts 3.
I thought you were going Silksong, bro. Yeah.
No. So, Silksong listeners, Silksong will be coming up later in this episode. Stay tuned for that, or skip to the timestamps if you don't want to hear about Kingdom Hearts for the upteenth time. But first, we gotta talk about Kingdom Hearts here because this is the RXP podcast. So, Yasser, to give you the lowdown, right? Kingdom Hearts 2, PS2. It came out in 2005, and here we are. You know, we are waiting for the conclusion of this trilogy. But at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, you know the story has to continue. And here we are waiting through the PS3 generation. We literally hear nothing. We hear nothing about a Kingdom Hearts. There's like inklings of rumors that there might be Kingdom Hearts 3 in development, right? We were like, oh, Square Enix, Nomura, like they're doing it. They're working on it. They're just not talking about it. Lo and behold, we skip the whole PS3 generation, and it isn't until PS4 we finally get the official now in development trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 in 2014. So, right, we waited 9 years for this trailer. And then lo and behold again, we hear about development troubles, and the game eventually comes out, right, once Square Enix finally, you know, gets really into development in 2019. So, we're coming off of a 14-year wait for this third entry in this trilogy, which we knew the whole time was coming. Obviously, you know, Square wasn't leaving us behind. They did come out with a lot of spin-offs, whether it's actual mobile kind of mainline story titles, mobile games, rhythm games. We got everything under the sun except for Kingdom Hearts 3. And I kind of want to start this, you know, and obviously Matt and Tiffany, they've played it too, but with my opinion of it, it met my expectations. You know, it was a 14-year wait, but it was well worth it. You know, we got worlds that I didn't think were possible, right? And more specifically, we got Pixar worlds. And this is the first entry in Kingdom Hearts to feature Pixar properties as playable worlds. You know, Monsters Inc., Toy Story, beyond just the typical Disney princess fare. And so for me, just being able to see these like properties in 3D, like playing as Sora, like getting into the world identities, right? Like Sora as an action figure toy or as a monster in Monsters Inc. Like these were great visualizations. And I think overall, and obviously we're not going to bring the story into this because, the story of Kingdom Hearts is still going on. Like we're going beyond the third entry, but the gameplay was satisfying as well. So I think it was a combination of visually, it was great to look at. Gameplay wise, it was fun to play and enjoy, and I couldn't really ask for more. And so for me, when I think about waiting a long time for something and it actually kind of meeting all my expectations, like Kingdom Hearts 3 is the game, is the franchise to meet that.
I mean, personally for me, during the time of between the games, 2 of my favorite modern Disney movies came out and were included in Kingdom Hearts 3, which are
Frozen.
Tangled and no, Alex. Tangled and
Big Hero
Big
6.
Hero 6. Those 2 properties are, honestly, if you talk to me about them, it almost feels like I grew up with it, even though I didn't technically grow up with it. Like, those 2 were fantastic. I forced those movies on Matt. I let him borrow my DVDs so he could watch and know those 2 properties. And
Not
you know
even
what?
Blu-rays.
No, not even Blu-rays. They were DVDs. And, I don't know what their obsession with Pirates of the Caribbean is, but we had to get Pirates back in 3. Whatever. That aside, I loved it and the wait was well worth it. So I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it was best case scenario. Like it was the technology of the time met their ambition to like show these worlds. Like if this came out right after 2005, the game that we would get for Kingdom Hearts 3 would have been like a shell of it. Like honestly, like going back to Kingdom Hearts 2, knowing what Kingdom Hearts 3 comes back to, and honestly, like there's gripes I have with the game, right? I hated the Frozen world. I thought it was like bland, and I don't really
Just
care
let
for
it
the
go,
movie.
Matt.
Just
Just
to be
let
honest.
it go.
Oh my God.
But the Toy Story world may be my favorite world of any Kingdom Hearts game. Like it was perfect. You are just walking
So
around
good.
a toy store, like a
And
toy
And we got
store.
memes out of it.
There's so many memes out of it, and I think it met all my expectations because it brought me back to modernizing a game that felt like the way I felt when I played Kingdom Hearts for the first time, which now going back to that, as Yasser can attest, feels different. It doesn't feel the same as like 2025. But when you were talking about Kingdom Hearts, I thought you were talking about Kingdom Hearts 4 because in my mind, Kingdom Hearts 3,
That's true too.
between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3 was a pretty busy part of all of our lives. We went through high school, we went through college, some of us did like a lot of college, and
Yeah.
that's where a lot of that time came from. So we were busy with other things. We were kind of figuring out our life outside of that. I feel it may not have that 14 years. I feel like the wait for Kingdom Hearts between Kingdom Hearts 3 and Kingdom Hearts 4 is just so much more now because I feel like maybe time feels a little bit different to me, and I'm sitting there knowing that I've gotten some teases with it, and I feel like I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for any bits of pieces of Kingdom Hearts 4. So I almost forgot that it was 14 years between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3 because really what's on my mind is that next one. Let's see what's happening with Kingdom Hearts 4.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I mean, I think I do agree with you that the passage of time, definitely based on where we are in our lives, feels different. So Kingdom Hearts 4, I think, was officially announced in 2021, and we haven't gotten literally any information since. And so, right, so we're already 6 years from 3 and then 4 years from the actual announcement. And so at this rate, right, it might end up being kind of the same timeline between 2005 and 2014 when, right, 5 came out or 2 came out and then 3 was officially released in terms of how many years it's going to take. I feel like, though, for me, because of where we are at the same time where we are in our lives, I was so much more like waiting in anticipation because being as a kid and playing Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and having that journey with Sora and the waiting to see the climax.
You felt more invested, you mean?
Yeah, like I wanted to see that story wrap up, and it being from my childhood meant a lot more. And now having seen that conclusion and being satisfied, and even though I know there's more to come, I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm ready for that next part of the story. I'm just not like head over heels, like waiting in dire anticipation. Mostly also because, as Matt said too, right? Like on some levels, there is a benefit to it taking longer, right? In terms of, are they taking more time with it? Is the technology evolving to maybe give us an even better experience by the time it comes out? And so there's kind of like a give and take there where I'm like, I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit more of my remaining time on this earth to get a slightly better next entry.
Oh my
you know what I'm
God.
saying?
Who said anything about sacrificing time?
Do you think it has anything to do with now we have all these showcases throughout the year and we've gotten like acclimated to things being shown off, like knowing that Kingdom Hearts is probably going to be coming out with D23 or D23 Experience, whatever that's called,
Yeah.
or Tokyo
Yeah,
Game
D23.
Showcase. Honestly, if it doesn't come out during this like September timeframe every year, I always go, oh, well, better luck next year. I almost anticipate it for, especially when we're going to eventually talk about Silksong. It turned into like such a meme of any showcase, anything that could potentially be a place where Team Cherry could talk about Silksong. When it wasn't there, it was a huge deal, and I feel like it brought like even more hype and anticipation leading into that game. And I almost feel the same way with that. Maybe that's why every showcase that goes by, maybe I'm a little bit more hyper aware that something's or nothing is being talked about. While between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3, it was like, well, who knows if they're ever coming back to this? You know, like this just might be something where, you know, we've only seen 2 of these in the main console. Maybe we'll just stay with mobile or stay with DS.
DS. Oh my god.
Man, rip. When any game got released
And
for Kingdom
3DS.
Hearts and then it just like said 3DS on the bottom of it, you're just like, oh man, that sucks.
Or when it was like freaking PS Vita or whatever, I was like,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to play this?
Yeah.
As a side tangent, does Kingdom Hearts hold the record for being as an IP on the most platforms?
Probably.
Probably.
Except maybe like, I don't know, I feel like Dance Dance or something stupid like that would
Oh,
probably
okay.
Oh,
meet it.
yeah.
But Kingdom Hearts got to be up there. Got to be.
It's been on like every platform release. Like
Game
every
Boy,
console,
probably Game Boy
every
Advance.
handheld.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. But yeah, okay. So over my Kingdom Hearts nostalgia trip, thank you for taking this trip with me, y'all.
Always.
Matt, as you mentioned, and as the listeners are probably waiting, you know, you and Yasser, Hollow Knight. Here we are in the year 2025. We finally have Hollow Knight Silksong out. You know, we are indeed, we're listeners, we're recording this post Silksong release. How is it? Is it meeting expectations? Is it not? Is it more or less Hollow Knight? Where are you at with this?
So I want to hear, you know, Yasser's history with this because, as you all know, this is the first year I've played Hollow Knight. I played Hollow Knight earlier this year. It's the first time I ever, I booted up maybe once before, wasn't feeling it, just left it. It's been mainly just a meme at this point. Like, I know it's the thing that people talk about. I know it's the game that everybody talks about, and everybody's like, oh, this is the best. I can't wait. And I've kind of just like lived into that hype because I'm like, obviously, the internet's never wrong. It's got to be the best game ever. And then playing it this year, I'm like, oh, actually, this is one of the best games I've ever played in my life. So my like hype train, super short. Like it is like a speedway. Like it is from May,
Just like got on
maybe,
the last stop.
until now, so maybe like 4 months. And still, I was like, when is it happening? When is it happening? Looking at every direct that happens, like going through E3
Salivating.
and Summer Game Fest, I'm just like, where is it? Team Cherry, where are you? Because I can't imagine playing Hollow Knight when it came out and being able to deal with waiting for Silksong for this long. Like, I don't know how these people made it through it, honestly, because my hype level has been through the roof for this game. And let me just tell you, I don't want to, say anything too hyperbolic, but Man, I was so confident in my game of the year, and then Silksong came along and just ruined everything. Like, this is the worst because this game is like rocketing to the moon for me. It is everything that I wanted and more. And
Wow.
honestly, I'm just 10 hours in, so this, could change. But I am enjoying it a lot better in the first 10 hours than I did Hollow Knight's first 10 hours. So if it keeps that up, this will be a real special one for me.
Wow. That's quite the take. Honestly, I feel like I may have led you guys a little bit astray because for me, like it was all about the memes. I was there for the memes. And so like my
He loves
my
the clown
connection
makeup.
to Hollow Knight and Silksong is one, the meme, and then two, like how that meme has been incorporated into our fantasy critic lives. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I continued on that train, as we know, this year on the Fantasy Critic, where I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go all in and say it's not coming out again. And lo and behold, they release it on my birthday just to spite me and say like, hey, you should have believed in us.
That's what
Insane.
we're waiting for this entire time. We just needed you to counterpick it. It was ready last year.
Right. But Hollow Knight's been on my backlog for the longest time. I'm letting this like hype train just like completely pass. Like I'm still watching it currently pass, and it's like, wow, this is really a crazy hype train. I can't wait till I get on it. But I need to play the first one first. It's on the backlog, as we all know. My backlog's insane. But I'm hopeful that I'll be able to play it soon. But everything that Matt said so far has made me want to push it up sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm.
How about you guys? Alex, Tiffany, are you guys planning to play this game?
No. It's
No
a
further
platformer. Yeah, I'm excited for everyone
Well, it's
to
also
play
like a
it.
get good platformer from what I've heard, which
It is.
also makes me feel like in another way, it's not a Tiffany game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really for me.
I didn't mean that in like a rude way. I'm just saying like it's difficult.
I didn't take anything
Yeah.
from that.
For me, I didn't get to Hollow Knight till like a few years after it came out and when it was added to a catalog service. And so, not to say I'll wait as long as I did for the first game, but I guess I was also of the ilk of I wanted it to come out just for the sake of everyone else that's been waiting for it to
Right.
come out. Like I
Exactly.
understand how like anxious you are, how like excruciating the wait is of being like, it's coming out, right? Like they've talked about it enough where there's no way this project is canceled. Like I feel like they would have at least
You
done
never
some
thought it was
sort of-
canceled?
Yeah, I think
'Cause
if
it's like
they
it's a
were
really small dev team, right?
Yeah.
yeah, if they were genuinely going to cancel it, they probably would have said, "Hey, like it's not coming out." Like I feel like they
Sure.
would have done that just to be honest, like with the public. But so because of that, I'm on that same side of like I'm just waiting for it to come out. Like I also just want to stop seeing the memes of like, it's I forget the name of the actual character, right? Because the name of the character in the first game isn't you're not playing as the Hollow Knight, but that character dressed up in the clown makeup. Like I wanted
Yeah.
to stop seeing that meme because I felt bad, Like I know what it's like to wait so long for something and just being like, it's not coming out, or if they're not even talking about it. Or you get bait and switch like at the Xbox conference where they're like, everything we talk about here is coming in the next year. And Silksong
Yeah.
was at that, and look at that.
Yeah.
They made everyone into clowns at that point. So I think I'm on your boat in terms of I'm not necessarily waiting for the hype train to pass, but I am anticipating not getting to Silksong until a little bit later, mostly because I feel like for the rest of at least this year, I have a lot of things coming out, or I already have stuff I want to get to first. And so it's kind
Sure.
of just falling into the queue of saying this is on the list, but I'm not willing to kind of bump it ahead of everything else at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, this hype train is going to last all the way until we do our top 4 picks for gaming in like December, January time, because I'm pretty sure I'll probably have it on that list. Like it's a very special game. Like it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that Hollow Knight felt so good but this feels nothing like it. It's so different. Like, it's so kind of like frenetic and very fast paced, because that's what Hornet was in the first game. Like, you fought against Hornet in the first game, and that's the main character of Silksong.
Oh,
And so
okay.
she's so acrobatic. She does all these special abilities, and throughout this game, you're gaining some of those abilities. And it's like, how is this going to work? How is this going to feel good? Because at the end, when you've beefed up your Shade in the first one, like, he feels great. He feels good at the end of the game, and she feels great too. Like, it's so weird. It's very weird to even like discuss, because I probably sound like a madman, but they've got a very, very special one.
In some ways, I am anticipating that end of the year top list, because, Matt, if, like, obviously, maybe you'll be fully done with it by then, and so you'll have a little bit more to say, non-spoilery, of course, but at least more kind of thoughts about why it reached that point and kind of where you found joy in it, that I could see, based on that feedback, it bumping up the list, right? If it truly does kind of meet all expectations, where I kind of put it ahead a little bit more of saying, hey, I know this is something to enjoy, so why not get to it, sooner rather than later, type of thing. But that is for a later time, so hopefully it keeps
Here's the thing. Whatever makes my top 4 list, you all need to like put a couple asterisks on this, because not usually, but this year especially, there's been so many Matt games, like a new Donkey Kong Nintendo platformer, probably going to get Metroid Prime 4, which I've been waiting, because we need to talk about that in a second, because that is something that's really been grinding my gears like since 2017. Silksong, which is like a fantastic action platformer. Like, the amount of games that have come out this year, not even to talk about like some of the indie darlings that I've loved this year, like Blueprints. I dove so deep into Expedition 33. We dived deep into. Man, this game is a winner. I'm not looking forward to picking my favorite children at the end of this year. But can we talk about
that's true.
Metroid
You've
Prime
totally
4?
been feasting.
Oh yeah,
You've been...
yeah. I've been eating good, been eating good. Let's talk about Metroid Prime 4, because we have a direct coming out this week. Probably going to get more information on this, but this has been something that I think it's been 2016, 2017. All they did was a splash page of a 4. Metroid Prime 4. No date, no nothing. Just like, hey, this is in development. It has gone through iteration after iteration of development hell. It has not gone anywhere. A lot of places. I didn't even know if this was ever going to come out. And honestly, out of any developer, Nintendo usually keeps things to the best. Like, they are known, supposedly behind closed doors, of kind of stockpiling different projects. They'll stamp their approval and then ship them very quickly. Supposedly, they have a bunch of those remasters that are ready to go. Maybe that's just like nothing. Maybe that's like all made up, and we're never going to get any of those like HD remakes of Legend of Zelda games ever coming out. But supposedly that's what they're used to. Well, they decided, we're not going to do that. We're going to have Metroid Prime 4. We're going to discuss it. We're going to say, hey, we're going to do this. And then we've heard absolutely nothing. Like, this was one of my favorite games of the GameCube generation. Metroid Prime 2, and then Metroid Prime 3 came out during the Wii generation. And man, I love those games. It's honestly, that's Metroidvania. This is my iteration that got me into a Metroidvania type game, which is what I love about Silksong. And so to have that come out this year, I'm so excited. But I am curious, is this going to like dig into like what my thought is of like what a Metroid Prime game is? Because I have a ton of nostalgia. I have not played Metroid Prime in years, but I would probably say Metroid Prime is in my top 20 games of all time that I've ever played. And so it's a ton of shoes to fill, like a very big set of shoes to fill. And I'm excited for it, but I am a little bit nervous because they've been waiting a long time to release this. And I'm excited, but kind of nervous.
So it sounds like, in a way, is it better that you gauge your expectations now in the very, real chance, it doesn't pan out. And not to say that it's going to be good or bad in any way, because obviously we won't know until the game's out. But at least in terms of the Metroid franchise, it feels like Metroid, although it is a Nintendo IP, it doesn't get as much exposure or love as kind of the other Nintendo IPs. And at least in that time frame, right, between the announcement of Prime 4 and now the eventual release of it, we at least got one other Metroid game, right, Metroid Dread. So there was some Metroid, right? We got a little sprinkling of Metroid on the in-between there. And so I'm wondering, as you mentioned, do you think the nostalgia, the rose-colored glasses, rose-tinted glasses, is that something that will more hurt or help you kind of gauge your expectation of saying, well, this is more of what I did enjoy when I was younger? Or is it like, oh no, they're really taking like Metroid Prime into being like, this can be a modern, I guess, single-player FPS adventure type situation?
Yeah, I think you're giving me way too much credit to think that I could control any expectations or hype. Like, I am someone that will ride whatever hype train is in front of me.
You gotta pull the brakes, man. Pump the brakes.
There's no brakes. There's no brakes on this train.
All gas.
Nah, it's a runaway train.
Yeah. And I know that about myself. So like, I am definitely setting myself up for disappointment, but I'm just happy that it's actually happening, because in my mind, I love Donkey Kong 64. It was one of my favorite games of the N64. Honestly, it was right there with Banjo-Kazooie and Super Mario 64. It was the three. Like, those were the three horsemen in my life growing up. And so seeing Bonanza come out and everybody loved it.
The gorilla,
I loved
the
it.
bear, and
the mustache. The three. So seeing that come out and get Donkey Kong onto a pedestal that I feel like in my mind he's always been there. And so to see kind of the popular, like culture take under him and like, hey, like he's like someone that Nintendo needs to really support. That's what I'm hoping for Metroid, because Samus is awesome. Everything about Samus is awesome. Like any person, I don't care what age you are, what background you have. Okay, so this lady, she's a bounty hunter. She has all these cool gadgets and she's just alone. She does everything by herself. She figures things out. She scans the environment and figures out how to get a task done. Are you kidding me? This sounds amazing. Like, I hope they support this.
It sounds like
as
this
much
should
as
be a
Donkey Kong.
live action movie instead of the Zelda movie.
100%. Are you kidding me? I'm not
makes
looking
so much
forward to
more
that.
sense, honestly.
Ugh.
Let's keep an open mind. We don't know.
Open minds.
No, I definitely, I'm there with you in spirit, like I said, just like with Hollow. It's like, I want these things to eventually come out, because for me, I realize it feels like usually Nintendo is pretty good about this, where it's like, right, we didn't know Mario Kart or Donkey Kong were coming till this year, right? So within 6 months of announcement, they released. And so typically they're not ones to lean into the far-flung announcement to release window. They're just like, hey, it's ready and you're going to play it in 4 months. And I'm like, that's kind of what I would prefer, at least in games, right? Like, show me the game when I know that's going to be the game, right? Like, development's far enough in that this isn't changing. And so whatever you're showing me now is going to be pretty much exemplary of like what the experience is at launch, right? Obviously, besides some tweaking that they do up until the very end. But it's like, this is definitely different. And it is somewhat cause for concern, right? Because obviously when they have these I feel like a company never wants to do this. And so whenever it ends up taking longer than expected, that like you can only think it's for negative reasons typically, right? It's never like, oh yeah, we delayed it and it's just because, right, like XYZ, but it's going to be better. Like Hollow Knight is one of the few games that has like succeeded with Silksong of taking more time, and right, the development team like coming out and saying we're just going to take more time because we need it, and lo and behold, we're coming out and it's rocking like a 96 98 open critic Metacritic score, like basically one of the best reviewed games of all time. Like, this is very rare that happens. And so, not to say Prime 4 will do that or not do that, but hopefully at least it's something where like you're like, that was a fun game, right? Like, I hope your purchase is well earned, and you're not just kind of throwing money at Nintendo. Not like they need any more money at this point anyway, but All right, moving on from Metroid. Tiffany, you've been quiet, so I want to go to you next. Like, what's something you've been waiting for? Whether or not it's come out, whether it hasn't. Like, is it like what's something that's been on your mind that you're kind of like, this is something that I've been on the hook for, and now it's finally here or not?
So actually, I kind of have two examples. One of them not really my cup of tea, but the other one is. So I'm going to divert the discussion a little bit to ye old books. There's
heard
this
of
little
those.
writer. There's this little old writer, George R.R. Martin.
Oh my god.
So like
She did
I've
it.
not read any of the
who's that?
Song of Ice and Fire, and this man last published A Dance with Dragons in 2011. It is now 2025, and we know that supposedly the winds of winter are supposed to be coming. The whole show and book series is all telling us winter is coming. Winter has not yet come.
I think that's because of global warming, but yeah.
I mean, that might be part of it. But this
Oh,
man
is that
has
the meta
not.
commentary that he's going after?
I mean, maybe.
Winter never comes.
There's literal talks on the internet about like handing over his IP to another writer to finish it off. Like, there's all these discussions. Some of it's kind of borderline a little rude, I would say. People are just like, he's gonna die before he's done. Just pass it off, old man.
Do you think there's a chance that he publishes this when he dies? Like, he just keeps it because he's
No.
like, you know what? I don't want to listen to these people. I do not want to hear about their criticism. So I will just let this go. Like, there's got to be a
In
chance.
his will, it's like
Do you
the publishing.
his trust?
Yeah.
In his trust, he's just like publish last two books at once. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think he's gonna finish. This man is not finishing his books. I think he's literally just like, let me retire. Which is also kind of strange because as an artist, don't you want to finish your craft? It's very strange to me.
I guess for him, my question is, do you think it's also, does he just have very massive writer's block? Is he just like not finding like the ending or the further story that he wants? And so because he's not satisfied, is it just like purely he just can't get it out? So he's like, well, I'm not going to release the partially made work. So if I can't finish it, right, that's why it's taking so long.
I mean,
Maybe.
he gave an outline to the show producer, the HBO show producers for like the, the original Game of Thrones show. So like they tried to do what he was planning. Now, I do understand that this man is very old and he's doing a lot of other creative projects in some ways. Like he's probably, he like maybe produced the Dragon show, House of the Dragon show, maybe, or I don't know. He also has some like commentary on how that show's not going that great. So I don't know how much involvement he has, but this man is like, he helped with Elden Ring. Like I could believe that due to also his age, when he's working on a creative project, he doesn't have time for a lot of writing. Like I could believe that, but like I also just wish he would just tell us that he's not finishing these. I just want him to tell it. I need closure. And you know what? This is a series I'm not even invested in. There's another series called the Kingkiller Chronicles that have also been optioned to a TV show, I think maybe with Amazon. This author, Patrick Rothfuss, he also last came out with the book in 2011. And
Wow.
the third book in his trilogy is nowhere to be found. And that man is much younger. I think he's also struggling. I think he has the writer's block. And he's just also like, oh, I'll get to it eventually. That one to be honest, though, I still think he's not coming out with the book, though. These are two epic fantasy writers that are just like floundering. And I'm just kind of bummed about it.
I guess, is the expectation that even if they were to release, like, do you think they would satisfy anybody at this point, right? Like, is it also, are people factoring in with how long it's taken? They're like, this has to be, like, the most perfect, like, entry into the series at this point. And so is there a kind of this, like almost unobtainable, like, fate where it's like no matter how long it takes now, even if it does come out, it still wouldn't reach people's expectations?
I think so. It's going to be sad. It's like we waited 15 years for this. Like, that's just unfortunate.
Even if it's good, right? Like, it could be like still amazing, but people aren't like, this is the best thing ever, you know? And like, could that be like does time work in that way where it's like, no matter how good it is, it's just not great? Like, people are going to think it's bad anyway.
I think if it's actually great, they'd be like, great, that was worth the wait.
Okay.
Like, if it's actually good, I think people are going to be happy. But if it's mid, people are not going to be happy. It's like, dude, you could have published this 10 years ago. This mid-ass book 10 years ago, and it would have been fine. We could have moved on with our lives.
Well, so I have a couple thoughts about your George R.R. Martin piece. First of all, I'm curious, like, why do you even care? Like, why is this one that you brought up if you really don't care about the work?
Because I just see it online when I'm in my book communities.
It's like Silksong
So it's like more
for
the
smart
meme
people
than anything else.
No,
yeah.
no,
Or like book people.
I think it's more related to like George R. R. Martin is more well known than Patrick Rothfuss's books, and so like I was just trying to give a comparison to.
Okay, so you don't actually care. It's just like it's a good example, is all.
Yes.
Personally, yeah. Okay. Well, and for what it's worth, it does seem like this guy just like is a slow writer in general. Like, he's had big gaps between his other books. Not as big as this one, obviously, but with this one, he has a lot more going on during that gap too, and so it kind of makes sense in my mind. I do wonder if it is something like what Matt said, and what Alex said, honestly, where you're waiting so long at this point that maybe he doesn't want to hear the feedback, and he just like has it ready to release when he dies. Like, I really don't think that's so far-fetched. And I'm sure a lot of people have like crazy conspiracy theories too. I honestly don't care, even though I love like the show itself. I didn't personally read the books, which I'm pretty sure Matt did, right?
I'm still working on it. They're so dense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I've heard a lot of.
He's waiting for Winds of Winter to come out before it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't personally read the books, but I think I would read the last book because it would connect and complete the story that I enjoyed on the show.
Mhm.
Right.
But I also don't feel like I'm in any rush. Like, if he waits till he dies, like, that's fine by me, man. Like, that's cool if you want to wait. Because I think the show kind of like slightly soured me on the story as a whole. But I do think that he can kind of reverse some of that for me. But because of the fact that I'm a little soured on the story, it doesn't like burn for me that I have to wait. But whenever it does come out, or if it does ever come out, I probably will be curious enough to want to read it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, though, like, Winds of Winter isn't even the last book. Like, he has another one called, like, A Dream of Spring or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, I mean, Matt, you know, that's one thing. Maybe he does have 2 books in the wings that he's, like, publish it and be done. That I would never thought of that. Also,
I feel like that would sell crazy if that happened, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Because, like, I know that a publishing company wouldn't drop 2 books at the same time, though. Like, they would literally, like, drop one and then a year later.
They would force it to be, like, separated.
Yeah. But
what if you went to 2
I don't
different
know. Like, I think
publishers?
this is the
That'd be
most
crazy.
egregious. That would be crazy. That would be very crazy.
I do worry because, like, J.R.R. Tolkien, when he passed, like, he had plenty of unfinished books, and his son, Christopher Tolkien, tried to, like, take his notes and, like, finish them off. So maybe this is just, like...
Did that work well?
The only one that I read was the Silmarillion, which is like the origin story. It was almost like the Bible for their world, which is what the Rings of Power is based off of. super dense.
I see.
Like it was like he was just writing an
A
encyclopedia at
history
that.
novel.
And I think
Yeah.
it was kind of
Yeah.
like his lore Bible for Middle Earth that his son kind of like transcribed and made into a story. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Like I'm either hoping he
Yeah.
finishes it while he's alive or he's already finished it and he'll release it when he wants to release it. But
Agreed.
man, because like you're saying, Yasser, like I'm pretty invested in this. Just even if I don't end up reading it, I want other people to read it and tell me what the story. Because like in
Tell
my
me.
mind, there
Yeah.
Yeah.
like we got everything is very canon up until the last 2 seasons of the show, right? And so a lot of characters did 180s, like from who we think that they are. And it's like,
Yeah.
is that really
Right.
in his outline? If he was so early on in his writing process, maybe that changed.
doubt
And
it.
like maybe that was his outline. And then he saw the response and then he's like, maybe I need to rethink this. And like then he's been like stuck in this like perpetual just like trying to figure out what the actual canonized, story is. But I hope it comes out. I feel very invested in it. It's probably going to take, like, even if he lives another 14 years, it's probably going to take me that long to finish the Game of Thrones books that are already out, because
Yeah.
it's like each book is like a season, and it is it's almost like word for word. I don't know if that keeps up. I'm just like seeing the show go on in my mind as I read it, which is really fun, really, really fun. So I wonder if that keeps up. I'll let you know in about 10 years while I'm still working on it. I'm still on the first book, by the way.
We'll
beefy.
link to this episode in that episode.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Peer review.
Honestly, like I definitely am with you though. I don't want someone else to take the IP and finish it. Like I think Tiffany, I can't remember if it was Tiffany I think it was Tiffany that mentioned that was a possibility. Like I would rather he do it. And if he doesn't get to it, then fine, we don't get it. But I'd rather him do it and do it because he knows those characters more than anyone else. Obviously, he wrote them.
Right.
And I do feel like whatever outline they gave the showrunners, like the showrunners really, I don't think cared enough. They wanted to do other things. HBO wanted those seasons to come out. So I think they just connected the dots as quickly as they could.
Right.
And I think it's going to be way better when we actually know what the story is. But unfortunately, neither the showrunners nor the HBO like execs wanted to wait, and I don't blame them. But like that train clearly has passed. So I do hope that we get to see it.
The reason why, I mean, it can be done successfully though when a second author comes in, because the Wheel of Time series, the author died before he completed his magnum opus or whatever, and with his wife, like in the trust that he had, the wife ended up picking another author named Brandon Sanderson to finish off the Wheel of Time series.
Oh,
and a
interesting.
lot of people actually say that series ended quite well.
Gotcha. Honestly, that's great. I honestly just haven't had personal experience with something like that where
fair.
it's worked out. I feel like I have so many experiences where it doesn't work out. Like especially in gaming, where you give it to a new dev or you give it to a dev studio that they made just for this game who supposedly had fans, like hardcore fans of the initial series that still make completely different stories when they throw their hand into the ring. So I just feel like I've been jaded by all those experiences where I don't want to see it again. But I definitely get your perspective too.
All right, Yasser. Anything you've been waiting for? Anything that you have waited for that's on the mind?
I racked my head around this for a little bit. Not too long, but a little bit. And honestly, I don't feel like I have anything that I truly look forward to so much that it's that I have like a strong opinion or something to share. But I have a couple things that I'll just throw out there. And I do think personally, the longer I have to wait for it, the more my anticipation just fades. I think that's like the summary that I'll start with. And the two examples I have of that are one, Stranger Things. Like that's one that we've talked about very recently, and one that's coming up very soon. I love that show. Me and Matt talked about it in our. Did we do a peer review on that?
I think so. Yeah,
we did,
I
right?
think we did a couple. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely listen to those pods if you're getting excited for the new season. But that was a show that I was very excited about, really enjoyed as it was happening. And then there was just this huge hiatus because of writer strikes and whatever else going on with the production. And I felt like the more time that passed, the more I just did not care. It's like, it's not that I didn't want to see what happened next, but it's just so much time had passed that like I forgot about it. I just like moved on to other things, other shows I liked, movies, games, whatever. And then another one is Spider-Verse, another movie that we expect to be coming out. I loved as I was watching the first two, and now we have this extended wait where it's not out until, is it next year or 2027? I forget now.
I think it's
Do you guys know?
2027 at this point.
Yeah, I think you're right too. And so I don't feel like personally super upset about that, but also I know that like my anticipation and excitement for it has significantly waned because I know I have to wait that long.
Hmm.
Will I watch it when it comes out? Almost in like almost 100% yes. But I also don't care that it's gonna take that long. I'm gonna just like forget about it until it comes out, and then I'll get excited when we're within like a couple months. So I feel like in general, I don't really have that issue. But maybe that's just because of how I like consume the things that I like, especially in media, in comparison to the average person or y'all.
You know, it does feel like Netflix takes like eons between seasons. Like they just take
They
forever.
didn't for the first few seasons, though, did they? I felt like they came by pretty quick
Well, I'm
for
thinking.
Stranger Things, anyway.
Well, I'm thinking in general, Bridgerton takes like 2.5
Mm.
years per season. Like it's just.
So you think it's a Netflix problem?
I think it's a Netflix problem.
They did this.
They did this.
Did you see that the actors are gonna have? They had to tape some of their scenes on their knees because some of them are like way too tall.
No way.
Like the one guy that's
so
like
funny.
very famous now. Like he's in so many things. I forgot what his name is though. I guess he's not that famous, but he's super tall, like very very tall. He was like one of the small skinny kids, and now he's a freaking huge lanky monster. Like he's probably taller than Vecna at this point. But supposedly he had to like sit on his knees so that he was normal height with some of the other ones. Because there's that the one actor that has like the like medical condition, so he's like not like having as much of a height as some of the other ones, and so they're trying to like normalize that. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like this is so crazy.
Oh no, I guess
So-
I didn't realize that with like things with child actors, like that is also a major
Yeah.
like, consideration where if things take
Yeah.
so long and the story timeline doesn't match up with like these kids like growing up, like you do get production issues like that where you're like, well, I guess we have to spend more time like in post production, like doing the editing right to make sure everything looks right. But that does add kind of an extra layer to it.
Yeah. But Matt, from like your perspective, I know you like both of these, but I guess we'll start with Stranger Things. Do you feel like your excitement has waned, or is it different for you?
I think I'm excited for it. Still, I think one of the things is I've kind of just like hibernated with my excitement with Stranger Things.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things once like now there's a crisp in the air. Now I feel like I want to watch Stranger Things. So I probably watched the first season and maybe the last season as kind of like bookends. And I feel like
Yeah.
I'll be right back there because there is something super magical in it. Like it's a very special series to me, and I want to see how it ends. Like knowing that it's final, I'm into it. If it was still just
Yeah.
like another season to get closer to the final, I don't know if I would be as like excited to see it. I'd be like, well,
Yeah,
I'll
that's a fair
see
point.
it when I see it. Um,
Yeah. I think I agree with you, honestly. Like once we get significantly closer, I think I'm gonna be much more excited
Yeah.
again. And I think I'm gonna watch all of the previous seasons all over again, especially once it's truly fall. I'm gonna have no problem doing that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a great time doing that. But it's just like I think I like that analogy you made where it just my excitement just hibernates, and then when it's ready to come back out, it's there.
something that comes out this fall that is kind of similar. I was so hot on this when it first came out, but it's kind of struggling because it's not finishing. It's just the middle of this completely crazy series is Avatar. James Cameron started Avatar in 2009.
Oh,
The second one came out in
yeah.
2022. The third one comes out now.
Mhm.
There's an Avatar 4 and an Avatar 5. They're talking about those going to be both beyond 2030. And I've seen these trailers. They
Yeah.
look good. Could I tell you, I don't care. Like, I don't care anymore. Could we cancel this series? Like, at this point, it's just taking so long.
You
And
have to get to the other
just makes too
elements
much money,
first,
though.
it makes so much money. But, man, it is something where they had something crazy in 2009. And then waiting as long as they did for the second one. I know there's, like, a pandemic and things that, prevented it.
I do not use that as an excuse.
I know,
It's
like,
not viable for
I'm
me.
sure that's what they would use. I don't even know what their excuse is. But to wait like 13 years to release the second one, it's done. Like, it is done. Like, I would much rather if it just remained just the one. And that's just
I
something
remember
where,
really enjoying that movie.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, like,
I
the
didn't
air
know
has
that.
come out of my hype with that, and I just can't imagine it ever going back. Because there's 2 more movies. Are you kidding me? Like, we're just halfway there now.
Yeah, honestly, I wonder if the fact that 2 more movies are coming out makes me feel the same way as you're feeling too. Because I remember loving that first movie.
hmm
I haven't even watched the second movie. I
Same.
literally haven't watched it because I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it was too long ago. It was just one movie. So it's not like I had this long line of fandom for this movie, but I really enjoyed it at the time and I wanted a sequel. But it's been so long now that I'm like beyond it and I don't feel like I have any excitement to watch any of the sequels.
Yeah.
I hope they're good though.
The second one wasn't bad.
Okay.
It wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad. It was pretty good, actually.
It's one of those things.
I would
I
disagree.
might, like, maybe I'll use this as an excuse to watch it, but it's just like, man, I could see myself watching 2009 Avatar, and if they released that in 5 years, I would be there Thursday night. I cannot imagine watching this, like, and trying to, like, get people to come with me opening night. Like, there's no way. But I feel like they
That's
could have
true.
been that way if they played their cards
Well,
right.
isn't this similar to what you guys were saying with Kingdom Hearts, where, or at least in a way, because at the time of when the first movie came out, it was like a pioneer of CGI, right? And at this point, or at least when that second movie came out, I don't know, maybe I'm just wrong because I haven't seen it yet, but I didn't see it as like, oh, this is now the next pioneer of CGI.
Oh,
Did
okay.
you guys feel that way when you watched it? Because
Nah.
that was part of it for me. It's like, well, I don't really care as much now because part of my enjoyment of it is like the marvel of the movie too. And I don't know how you guys felt from that aspect of watching it, Alex and Tiffany.
I think visually, I would say that's its own only redeeming factor. Like, I do think it does look incredible. Like, obviously, it being the way of water and there being a lot of water scenes. I feel like water is one of those few things where it's like, it is a very hard thing to simulate, especially digitally, right? Because when you think about water and like the physics of water, it's not something that's very simple, right? Like, water in all of its aspects is very hard to like put an object in it. How do objects react with water? The lighting, right? The refraction, everything. And I think on that front, they really did nail it. But in terms of the story, I think it's like, it feels like Avatar at this point is just an excuse to have this groundbreaking CGI, but not necessarily have a meaningful, like, very impactful story kind of catch into it. Because, not to be reductive, but right, it's just Pocahontas. Like, this is like the story they're
space.
telling here isn't feels very derivative, and I'm like, you're not really breaking ground there. But visually, it is stunning. Like, by all accounts, I'm like, I don't know
So
how
it
many
does keep up.
movies, like, that look like this.
Interesting.
But obviously, you're watching a movie more than just for the visuals, right? Like it kind of needs everything kind of encapsulating in one
Honestly, for me,
product.
Avatar, I would not be watching for more than the visuals. But like
Okay,
what you just
then maybe
said
it
makes
is
me
worth it
like
for you then.
consider watching it. Yeah,
Yeah. On
That's
that
funny.
note, I want to circle back because at the top of the episode, I talked about that I didn't want this episode to only be negative.
Wait, have we been really
opinions.
negative? I just realized that.
We've been kind of negative on Avatar. There's been some Avatar hate here, not necessarily James Cameron hate, but definitely Avatar hate,
Of course,
and not
never.
that last Airbender, obviously, but James Cameron's
Love
Avatar.
that.
But to kind of follow up with this, and this is a great kind of segue into my opinion. So, listeners of the podcast, you may have heard me mention this game in the past, but there's a game I demoed at the PlayStation Experience back in 2017, and that little game was at the time being developed by one Chinese man, and the game was called Lost Soul Aside. And the premise was, and the premise still is that it's an action game. Something very similar to the clearest example to compare it to is Devil May Cry. So if you understand Devil May Cry, you understand this is pure action. It's spectacle, right? You're going around, you're using your whole move set, your array of weapons to beat up enemies, and you want to look cool while doing it. And right, it's been 8 years since finally this year, 2025, it's come out. And honestly, he's nailed it, right? In the time frame, he has hired like more developers, so that it grew from a one-man project to a whole team. And the combat is fun. Like they did succeed on that front. Now, the problem with this though is that it feels like with this extra time they've taken with the development, they wanted it to become more. And so instead of just focusing on an action game, they tried to make this a full-fledged RPG, and I think that by the fact that tries to be an RPG when it's clearly not, it's just not a good game. Like it's like hard for me to say, but like it's the attempt to be something more, especially with the time they've had to develop it and work on it some more. They've kind of like overshot the boundaries here, where it's like I could see where you're going with this. Like the action is there, but everything else just feels half baked. There's really like there's a crafting system to make items, but there's no real reason to like craft things, right? Because it's all just consumables you use. So it's like healing and like temporary buffs and debuffs. There's a skill tree that obviously is used for gaining moves, which is kind of nice for the combat, but it's kind of like an arbitrary, hey, we're gonna lock these abilities behind these kind of time gated experience nodes, and it's kind of like, what's the point of that, right? Like if you want to find ways of preventing me from having access to moves, I feel like you could easily do that without me having to kill enemies over and over to gain experience points. And also just from the fact that, right, this was a smaller team that started as an individual developer, just the production isn't great. Audio cuts in and out at random times during cutscenes. The voice acting is good, like it's decent, but it doesn't feel like they thought about it from a like language outside of Chinese, because I feel like in Chinese it works well, but in every other translated language it's not great. And it's like the game overall has signs of it wanted to be something more, and it obviously should not have done that because they just didn't have like the skills, right? They didn't have the vision for it to be the game that it ended up being. And so for me, it's a very like sad thing to say, to be like, if this game came out like 4 years ago, if they worked on it for like 4 years, it was just pure action, like fighting bosses, I think this would have been like a 10 out of 10. I'd recommend it like across the board, no problem, very easy. But for what it is now, even with the patches they've been working on it to smooth out some of the kinks, it's like I can't recommend this. Like I actively say don't like pick it up. Like it's something where I'm like, there are other action games out there that are more worth your time, and it's just sad for me to be like, hey, I believed in this dev, right? And obviously I paid full price for this. I still believe in them in that way, that I paid the full asking price, $60 US. And so it's like when you compare something like that to something else that people have been waiting for, not that you can really compare them, but like Silksong coming out, at $20 and it being like one of the best games of all time, apparently, it's like kind of hard to muster, right? The muster the opinion say, hey, Lost Soul Side is worth your 60 USD, right? And so, am I hopeful that the dev can move past this? I think there is, right? I think because the combat is so good, they might be able to see, listen, maybe we were too ambitious. Like, let's make another one, but let's just focus on the combat. I think that's a game that succeeds. But right now, it's kind of like, hey, you trying to stick a story into this and to stick like cutscene direction and whatnot, it just didn't meet my expectations, right? Because I'm like, you didn't need it in the first place. And so I feel like there's a lot of those times where, and this is just the most recent example for me, where I'm like, taking more time to like be more ambitious isn't always the right choice, right? And I feel like maybe Avatar kind of falls into that same route where it's like, hey, Cameron's working on this. It takes 13 years to make the second one. I don't know what those 13 years are spent on, developing and incorporating into the movie, but it is the same thing where it's like you took the extra time and it isn't what I was expecting or isn't kind of breaking as much ground as I expected. And so, it fails in those fronts. And so I'm like, it's hard for me to say, but avoid Lost Soul Side. That's kind of the main takeaway.
Yeah, it's kind of the risk that you run, like when you show something off and then you like, all these projects are personal projects. Like everything that we've talked about is somebody's like baby at some point. Even James Cameron, he's like every night tucking Avatar in with his $1 billion right next to it. But like the Chinese developer, he probably like loves Lost Soul Side and it's like a passion project for him and he wants to make it the best he can be. But like there comes to a point of when you don't have a time limit for some of these things, like you almost work it to death. Like you need the dough until there's nothing left. And honestly, that was kind of my concern with Silksong. I was like, are these people that are about to burn every city to the ground if Silksong is not released? What if it's bad? Like, what if it's just trash?
Oh, no.
Luckily, it didn't, because I don't think the world is ready for that. But yeah, like having a little bit of an anchor to your ambition is everything for some of these that are announced forever. Because game development, more than anything else, like more than TV shows, more than movies, the development cycle is so long. And so I feel like you can almost get into that situation. Maybe not as long as George R.R. Martin, but otherwise than that, like everything else is a lot shorter. So maybe you don't have as much time to kind of like let your ambitions run wild. But yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad. Maybe this is like a good learning curve for him to figure out what everybody liked and then make something that just focuses on that. So who knows? Lost Soul Aside 2 will be sick. Maybe.
Yeah, Lost Soul beside me. I'm beside myself. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I definitely hope it is something where the dev doesn't get discouraged by the negative press. I think right now it's sitting at a 64 average score on OpenCritic. So negative points for me on my Fantasy Critic.
Is he still just independent though?
He has his team, but yes, he's not
Okay.
like he hasn't been like poached or hired by any sort of studio. So like he still has rights to the IP.
Okay.
So if in case there is a future for this, maybe it is something that they can work on a sequel.
Yeah.
Obviously, hopefully there's enough sales to justify it, but maybe we can get the next best thing. On that note, I think we have time. I do want to play a short game because it's been a while on the podcast.
Yeah.
If y'all remember, we used to play games on this podcast.
We used to have fun.
A game. We used to have fun. We used to have a pro gamer pod. segment.
Yeah.
I don't think I was ever part of that. I'm excited.
Yeah. We'll add you to the list. Maybe we'll revive it as a recurring thing. Who knows? But for this, it's a short game. I've looked up the development timelines of 3 different games. We're gonna go in order, but basically, I just want from you 3 to guess how long these things were in development for.
Ooh.
And so there's a competition in that you all be guessing, or you can work together, whatever is the case. But you'll just be guessing how many years. I've rounded these to years from basically as much of as an official confirmation of development time as we could get on the record as possible. So these aren't
Okay.
necessarily from announcement to release. It's from when someone on the team was able to confirm we started work on this to the eventual release.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So are you all three ready?
Ready.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. The first game, a little bit close to our hearts in some ways. Final Fantasy 15.
Oh.
Ooh, that took a while.
Yeah.
How many years did it take?
You guys want to work as a team or?
Yeah.
I guess
think
you
that
should.
sounds good.
You
I
three work
mean-
as a team. Work as a team. Talk about
feel
talk
like
about what you know.
Does Square
9
have
years or
multiple
something?
teams on Final Fantasy? I feel like 14 is like its own separate team, right?
Yeah. I would agree.
So when
with
did
that.
13 come out?
13 had 3 games though. It was like 13, 1,
Oh,
2, and 3.
Shoot.
Yeah, I don't recall. They were on the PS3.
Okay. I could see this being like
Like
7 years of development.
7.
Like long,
feel like
a
it's-
long development.
I almost feel like it should be.
I'm gonna have
'cause
to
it-
trust y'all on this.
It ended up coming out in like 2017 or something. I don't. Okay, I think I feel like 9. I don't know why 9 is just in my. Let's do 8. Let's do 8 years because in
yeah.
between 7 and 9.
Lock it in at 8.
Okay.
Lock it in 8 years.
All right, locking in 8 years. Good guess, good vibes, but no, it's not 8 years. Here we're gonna do the brief history of this. So Final Fantasy 15 originally started as Final Fantasy Versus 13.
Oh.
In case you ever heard of that.
No.
So there was originally when 13 launched, they were actually making 3 different like spin-offs of 13 at the same time.
Man.
I forgot about that.
And
This is why Square
so-
focus on Kingdom Hearts. Give up this Final Fantasy business.
yeah.
And so there was actually a big announcement for when Versus 13 was officially rebranded to 15.
Oh, okay.
And so it was still the same project. So because of that, it was actually Versus 13, because technically that was the origin of this project before it's changed. It started in 2006.
Uh-oh.
And in 2013 is when they had the official announcement that Versus 13 was being transformed into Final Fantasy 15, which then went on to release in 2016. So it had a 10-year development cycle.
Okay. Oh, we're pretty close.
That's pretty close.
That's pretty close.
Yeah.
That's closer than I thought.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So it definitely was. It's like I was also of the same ilk where I was heavily anticipating Versus 13, mostly because at the time they were like, oh, this is taking Final Fantasy into a darker, like more mature kind of storytelling tone, right? Like in the trailer, there was blood, right? And typically in Final Fantasy, you don't get blood. I mean, obviously with 16 that recently came out, there's blood all over the place. But prior to that, Final Fantasy was not a series known to show bloody scenes. Like, obviously there was implications of people dying, like murder and such, but you did not see that action on the screen. So for me, I was just hype about it to be like, hey, we're finally getting a dark themed Final Fantasy.
Can I ask a question for you all to discuss amongst yourselves? This adds on to the Pro Gamer Pod. This is a true or false question. Will Tiffany take longer than the developmental time
How dare
to
you?
play this game?
How dare you? 'Cause I knew where you were going.
Because we're pretty close, actually.
Actually, that's next year.
No.
Oh my god.
We're now 10 years almost from the release of 15.
Damn. Can I also propose that we don't work together on this next question?
Okay, yeah.
I want someone to win.
Okay, that sounds good. That was just a wet our chops. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I only have 2 more questions, so the points
That's
are slim
perfect.
then. Slim point margins. All right, second question. How long did it take Diablo 3 to develop?
Oh no.
Oh.
I don't know this at
Can we
all.
work again? No, I'm kidding.
I remember Diablo 3 came out on the Xbox 360. I don't remember Although, did they have different release dates for like the console versus the PC version? That I don't know. I just know him based on the fact that my friends used to play it on 360.
I feel
I'm
like
gonna guess
Diablo 1 and
13
Diablo
years.
2 came out close together. So I feel like the developmental time will be longer.
I'm gonna guess 6 years.
Oh, I was going to like go 12.
I'm locking in 13.
Oh,
All
wow,
right.
killed me right
All
at the
right.
kneecaps.
I need all three of you to agree. How do you, if points are to be allocated, do you want closest guess?
Just
Earns
close.
the
Yeah.
closest, yeah.
Closest, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then in that case, we're going to have, wait, Matt, what did you say?
12.
12, 13, and 6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. With that, Matt takes the point. He's the closest.
Let's go.
11?
Diablo
10?
3 took 11 years to develop.
Whoa. Yeah.
Very nice.
So it actually, it started development right after Diablo 2, and it was officially in 2001. It was officially announced in 2008, and it released in 2012.
Okay.
What's interesting about this is that this was kind of it blends into what we talked about previously on this episode. Part of the reason it took them so long, Blizzard Entertainment, to make Diablo 3 was that they were afraid of the success of Diablo 2 and not being able to meet those expectations. And
Oh.
so there was an extended development time on 3 to kind of work on it to be like, can we make another Diablo that's as great as Diablo 2? And so there's this kind of like self-doubt that was in
This
the development team
multi-million
at the time.
company, they're like, I'm scared. What if they don't like it as much?
Well, good
Well,
thing it
smaller
wasn't
then, I
12
guess.
years, because are you talking about like the PC release? Because the console release was a year later.
Yeah,
Over
the
a year
PC
later.
release. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good thing that didn't cause a debate, but I think Matt would have won no matter what.
All right. This final game, this is an infamous game for delays.
Oh.
And so I had to include it because when we have a topic tight about things getting delayed or things not coming out, if we're talking about games, this has to be mentioned in the conversation. And that is Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh, that is not what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to talk about GTA 6.
No, not GTA 6. Not in this episode.
Duke Nukem
Okay.
Forever.
I know.
Why are
only
we
know
picking
of
games that none
name
of us have played? Like, come on. What are we doing?
because he's just doing it for the memes. I'm gonna lock in 18 years.
18
18
years.
years.
I don't
Yes.
know
Maybe, yeah.
any Duke
I
Nukem
see the
games.
vision, Tiffany, because like he keeps going up so far.
Yes.
So maybe.
Yes.
What do you think, Matt?
I'll go 15 years.
15 years.
Screw it. I'll do 14.
14 years. All right, with that, Yasser ties Matt. Yasser takes the point. It is indeed
Let's
14 years.
Wow. Nice.
This game was announced in 1997
Wow.
and eventually came to release in 2011.
That's
Wow,
wild.
that's crazy.
And
yeah, just hang it up at that
obviously,
point.
when it released, it was really bad. It was a really bad game. And so, for
For
me, when I
nothing.
think about delays in the video game industry, like Duke Nukem Forever is like the quintessential, right? You have a delayed game and it can be bad, right? Like, obviously, there's that misquoted Miyamoto quote of like, right, a delayed, right, whatever the release thing that he says or that people attribute to him saying of like, a rush game like is bad, but like or it's forever bad, but like a delayed game, cannot be better. Something along those lines. Whatever that quote is. But it's just
Yeah, I've
something
heard it
where
that
it's
way.
like, yeah, Duke Nukem is the quintessential. You can have a delayed game that ends up off like really bad, really terrible.
Hmm.
All right. So with that, I guess we'll just chalk up in the new version of the Pro Gamer Pod that Matt and Yasser have earned a point in. Tiffany's in last place. Well, I guess technically I'm in last place too because I don't get a point for this. So we have two victors and two losers.
And we can announce that we're going to be doing a lot more Pro Gamer Pods and then just never, ever release any more.
Never do
just
it
to
again.
stay
Oh my
true to
gosh.
this topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. The long-awaited Pro Gamer Pod segment number 2.
Yeah, get ready for part 2, everybody.
Electric Boogaloo. All right, that brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you to my co-hosts for bearing with me on this kind of a little bit longer episode, but I wanted to get the game in there because I thought it was fun, and definitely to hear you guys kind of talk about like when you heard of these things releasing or whatnot was definitely interesting. Thank you to you, the listeners. Please subscribe for more content if you enjoyed this. Thank you to Grandmaster Doug for the tunes, and until next time, take care.
There's no brakes. There's no brakes on this train.
Just pass it off, old man.